Have you ever experienced that sinking feeling, that immediate pang of regret after a careless remark or a knee-jerk reaction? It's not just awkwardness. Sometimes a few thoughtless words can cost you trust, strain crucial relationships, and even close doors to opportunities you desperately wanted to walk through. In a world where everyone seems to be perpetually vying for attention, constantly racing to be heard, the conscious choice of intentional silence stands as a rare and profound form of power. But truly knowing when to hold your tongue, when to carefully select your words, and how to make them genuinely count requires far more than mere willpower. It demands a deep and consistent self-mastery. If you've ever felt betrayed by your own words, if you yearn for a greater sense of calm and control in your communication, then this message is precisely for you. In the relentless hustle of modern life, where every thought seems to demand immediate expression, how often do you truly pause before you speak? For many of us, navigating demanding careers, nurturing complex relationships, and simply trying to maintain our inner equilibrium can feel overwhelming. We might find ourselves caught in a cycle of impulsive reactions, quick retorts, or sharing too much too soon. What if the key to greater influence, stronger connections, and profound inner peace isn't found in saying more, but in mastering the powerful art of saying less and saying it with unwavering intention? The ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers not just abstract theories, but a battle-tested toolkit for cultivating this precise skill. It teaches us to manage our emotions, focus only on what we can genuinely control, and, most importantly, to discern with unwavering clarity when to speak and profoundly when to remain silent. Are you ready to truly elevate your presence, to be the person in the room who doesn't need to shout to be heard, whose words carry undeniable weight because they are carefully chosen, not impulsively blurted? For those of us navigating the complexities of our mid-30s and 40s, we understand that true respect isn't earned through volume, but through wisdom, composure, and a profound sense of self-possession. It's about cultivating an inner fortress of calm, a deliberate choice to operate from a place of clarity rather than chaos. This isn't about being cold or distant. It's about becoming incredibly strategic with one of your most powerful assets, your voice. If you're tired of words leading to regrets and seeking a path to more impactful communication and inner strength, then it's time to discover how mastering your words can truly master your life. Welcome to StoicCraft, where we delve into timeless wisdom to help you forge an unshakable mindset and live a life of profound purpose and impact. Today, we're unlocking the profound power of controlled communication, a cornerstone of Stoic living that can fundamentally transform your relationships, your career, and your inner world. 1. Listen more, speak less in the vast, interconnected landscape of modern life, where it often feels like everyone is perpetually broadcasting, endlessly shouting, "Listen to me." Truly effective listening has paradoxically become a rare and deeply valued superpower. It's easy to interrupt, to jump in with advice, or to quickly shift the spotlight back to ourselves. But Stoicism teaches us that listening is far from a passive act. It is, in fact, an active, potent choice, a genuine hallmark of a strong mind that can steadfastly resist the pervasive urge to perform, choosing instead the opportune, precise moment to engage. Think of it like a seasoned swordsman. They don't swing wildly or react impulsively. Instead, they patiently wait, they meticulously watch, and they move only when the timing is unequivocally right and every action counts. The truly wise, those who embody profound understanding, do not use words merely to fill an uncomfortable silence. Rather, they judiciously use silence itself as a profound tool to understand others with far greater depth and clarity. Consider for a moment the profound impact of Dave, a rideshare driver in bustling Manhattan. He was a quiet man, not one for effusive small talk. One day, a woman entered his car, her eyes red, clearly exhausted. For the next 40 minutes, Dave uttered nothing more than a simple good morning at the outset. He gently placed a water bottle in the front cup holder, instinctively turned off the radio, and occasionally glanced in the rearview mirror, simply to ensure she was okay. When they finally arrived at her destination, she quietly stepped out, leaving behind a hastily folded note. It read, "I just lost my father. Thank you for letting me sit in silence." This ride was the kindest thing I've experienced all week. Dave hadn't spoken a single word, yet in his profound silence, he had communicated exactly what was needed. I am here, and I understand. This powerful anecdote powerfully illustrates that authentic listening isn't merely about physical proximity. It's an active choice, a genuine engagement that asks thoughtful follow-up questions, allows for comfortable silence, and resists the instinctive urge to fill every void with empty chatter. Good listeners don't rush to offer unsolicited advice, nor do they pretend to fully grasp a situation without truly hearing it out. They humbly ask, and they patiently wait. In professional settings, the most impactful individuals are often the quietest in meetings, yet they possess the clearest and most comprehensive grasp of the room's dynamics. In personal relationships, they are the trusted confidants to whom everyone naturally turns when life's most significant moments unfold. A truly effective salesperson doesn't just deliver a polished pitch. They meticulously ask the right, incisive questions. A compassionate doctor doesn't simply prescribe medication. They carefully listen to the unspoken fears hidden behind the presented symptoms. And a truly great friend isn't the one who possesses all the answers. It's the one who can sit beside you in comfortable silence, making you feel profoundly less alone. To cultivate this vital Stoic habit, try a simple yet remarkably transformative exercise for the next week. In every conversation you engage in, consciously count how many questions you genuinely ask versus how many opinions you freely give. If you find yourself asking questions twice as often as you are offering your own thoughts, you are unequivocally on the right path. Aim to let the other person speak approximately 70% of the time. The more diligently you practice deep listening, the more you will come to the profound realization that people don't always need to be fixed or advised. Far more often, they simply need to feel genuinely understood. And here's a liberating, perhaps surprising, truth to be ready for. The better you become at the art of listening, the less you will instinctively feel the need to talk. Because once you understand a situation with genuine clarity, there's no longer a need to guess or to fiercely fight over trivial details. The most influential individuals often say very little. They simply utter what truly, unequivocally matters. What's truly remarkable is that in those very moments when you are profoundly listening to someone else, you paradoxically begin to understand yourself with greater depth. You might notice your own ingrained impatience, the almost irresistible urge to interrupt, or the internal script perpetually waiting for your turn to interject with, "Let me tell you me story." Becoming acutely aware of these internal patterns is, in itself, a powerful sign of genuine growth. You no longer feel the frantic need to win every conversation. You simply desire to authentically connect. Epictetus, the wise Stoic, once profoundly reminded us that nature gave us one tongue and two ears so we could hear twice as much as we speak. This isn't a random anatomical fact. It's a profound lesson in balance and perspective. The question then is, are you truly living in accordance with this natural wisdom, or are you inadvertently living in reverse? Because when you diligently begin to tame your words through the power of listening, you will discover that the real challenge isn't merely in controlling your mouth, it's in mastering the storm within your mind. Often, what causes us to say the wrong thing isn't a lack of knowledge, but an uncontrolled surge of emotion. 2. Control your emotions. There's a fundamental truth that many of us only truly grasp after the painful cracks begin to appear in our most cherished relationships. Words are never truly harmless. They are akin to arrows. Once released, they cannot be retrieved. The most heartbreaking part is that the vast majority of these emotional arrows are fired not by careful reason or thoughtful consideration, but by raw, unfiltered emotion. We become angry, we feel deeply hurt, we grow scared, and in that intense moment we speak. Sometimes, just a fleeting few seconds of lost self-control can tragically unravel something beautiful that we painstakingly spent years building. This is precisely why learning to meticulously manage your emotions before you speak is not a mere luxury. It is, in fact, a fundamental survival skill for navigating the complexities of modern life. Stoicism doesn't demand that you remain perpetually silent. It simply asks you to remain profoundly conscious before you utter a single word. It teaches that genuine freedom isn't the unbridled ability to say whatever you desire, but rather the formidable strength to wisely hold back when wisdom dictates. And that profound inner control, that mastery, can only truly manifest when you are unequivocally in command of your own emotions. Have you ever experienced that familiar surge of intense anger where you felt an overwhelming urge to shout, to insult someone, only to be instantly consumed by profound regret just minutes later, once the heat of the moment had passed? Or perhaps you let a crucial secret slip, simply to prove a point, only to discover too late that you had irrevocably lost someone's trust? These moments are not isolated incidents. They unfold every single day within the intimate confines of our homes, within the demanding pressures of our workplaces, and even within the seemingly anonymous echo chambers of social media comments. Consider the illustrative story of John, a long-serving manager at a tech company in Chicago, widely admired by his colleagues for his unwavering, calm nature. One day, during a particularly tense meeting, his boss delivered a harsh public criticism. John, completely uncharacteristically, snapped. He abruptly interrupted, his voice rising in fury, and publicly accused his boss of profound unfairness, adding that the entire team had lost respect for him The room fell into a chilling silence. That very same afternoon, John was quietly removed from his managerial position. The profound irony was that John wasn't necessarily wrong in how he felt. He tragically lost not because of his feelings, but because of his uncontrolled reaction. Had he simply taken a mere 3 seconds to breathe deeply, to pause, everything might have unfolded entirely differently. A deep, conscious breath can truly be the definitive wall between a wise, measured response and a reckless, regrettable reaction. This precisely is the profound shift Stoicism relentlessly urges us to practice every single day. Do not speak when you are consumed by anger. Do not attempt to explain yourself when you are deeply hurt. Do not respond when your mind is still caught in a raging storm of emotion. Modern neuroscience powerfully validates what the Stoics intuitively understood millennia ago. When emotions surge, your amygdala, the primitive part of your brain, takes over, effectively overpowering your prefrontal cortex, the rational reasoning part. In essence, when you are consumed by anger, you are literally less intelligent, less capable of sound judgment. Your brain is temporarily hijacked, and everything you utter in that volatile moment does not emanate from your true, conscious self, but from the raw, unfiltered grip of your emotions. Are you genuinely content with being a mere spokesperson for your anger, a vessel for your unfiltered rage? The surprising truth is that emotional control doesn't equate to emotional suppression. It is, in fact, the profound art of transformation. One of the most effective techniques is to meticulously label your emotions with precise clarity. Instead of merely saying, "I'm mad," tell yourself, "I feel disrespected," or "I feel powerless." Naming your emotion with precision actively engages your rational brain, providing just enough space to gracefully detach from the overwhelming emotional wave. Another powerful technique, rooted in behavioral psychology, suggests that if you feel an explosion of emotion brewing, sit down and diligently write out everything you desperately want to say, but do not, under any circumstance, send it. Write by hand. This physical act forces your brain to consciously shift from impulsive emotional reaction to structured, logical language. Often, within minutes, you will find that you no longer harbor the intense desire to say those things at all. Abraham Lincoln famously employed this strategy. Whenever he felt a surge of anger towards someone, he would pen a scathing letter, then carefully place it in a drawer, never to be sent. He called them venting letters. Their purpose wasn't external communication, but internal clarity, a profound way for him to regain his composure. This is precisely how Lincoln remained remarkably composed, even amidst the most tumultuous political storms. You can also choose a personal anchor, a small, deliberate action to subtly reset your mind. It could be gently touching your wrist or slowly exhaling through your mouth. These are not random tricks. They are your personal shields, diligently protecting your dignity and your inner peace. Learning to master your words isn't about perpetually silencing yourself. It's about discerning precisely when to speak, carefully choosing what to say, and thoughtfully considering how to articulate it. Sometimes the greatest power resides not in what we choose to say, but in what we courageously choose not to. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where, because you lost control of your emotions, you uttered something you now profoundly regret? If so, consider sharing that experience, not to feel shame, but so that we can collectively learn to live stronger, calmer, and speak with far greater purpose. Remember, to master your emotions is to master yourself. 3. Speak less than you think. There's a subtle yet remarkably dangerous habit that most of us fall into, almost unconsciously, saying whatever pops into our minds. We often rationalize it by calling it being honest, keeping it real, or not, bottling things up. But the unvarnished truth is that blurting out every single thought isn't a sign of honesty. It's a profound lack of discipline. Individuals of true depth are not those who think less. They are, rather, those who have cultivated the wisdom to think extensively and then speak just enough, precisely what is needed, and no more. Think back to a recent casual conversation, perhaps a coffee catch-up with friends. Someone might have cautiously mentioned they were considering a career change. Before they even finished their sentence, another friend might have impulsively interjected, "To be honest, switching jobs now is a dumb move." A few more just being real comments might have followed, and what began as a vulnerable sharing session quickly devolved into an unsolicited criticism. The entire atmosphere shifted. The person who initially shared their vulnerability grew quiet, nodded politely to end the exchange, and perhaps, just perhaps, they will never truly open up to that group again. A valid point, no matter how accurate, when delivered at the wrong time, in the wrong manner, or to the wrong person, might as well be completely incorrect. Stoics do not remain silent because they have nothing worthwhile to say. They remain silent because they profoundly understand a simple yet powerful truth. Every single word has a hidden cost. That cost could manifest as your precious energy, your invaluable privacy, or the delicate fabric of your relationships. The more you genuinely grow, the less you will feel the frantic urge to speak, not because you are empty inside, but because you are utterly done with the tiresome work of cleaning up the inevitable mess left by careless, impulsive words. Epictetus once sagely advised, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This profound wisdom suggests that genuine improvement, in many instances, isn't about vocally asserting your correctness. It's about possessing the quiet strength to remain silent, to be misunderstood, and yet to remain steadfastly calm and secure in your own sense of self. Let me share a story that, though seemingly simple, holds a crucial lesson for all of us. Thomas was a sharp, quick-thinking individual working in finance. He possessed extensive knowledge, impeccable logic, and a mind that operated with the precision of a whip. During one internal meeting, his boss presented a new idea that to Thomas seemed poorly conceived. Irritated, Thomas immediately interjected, meticulously pointing out every single flaw in the proposal with words as sharp as knives. He wasn't wrong in his assessment, just too fast, too blunt. His boss did not react then, but a few weeks later, Thomas was quietly removed from a major project. Confused, he later learned the truth. Leadership felt he wasn't a cultural fit. Thomas didn't lose his opportunity because he lacked ability. He lost because he was right at precisely the wrong time. From that pivotal experience, Thomas changed. He began diligently writing down his thoughts before meetings, rereading them 10 minutes later, and honestly asking himself, am I saying this to genuinely contribute or merely to prove I'm smart? If the answer was the latter, he consciously remained quiet. Within months, something remarkable shifted. People began to pay genuine attention when he did speak. His silence had become a powerful signal of depth, not hesitation. You can begin cultivating this same powerful habit today. It's remarkably simple. When a thought spontaneously pops into your head, resist the immediate urge to utter it. Instead, imagine that every single word you speak carries a tangible cost, like money. You would naturally speak less, and every word you chose would carry greater weight and meaning. Give yourself a buffer, just 3 seconds, between a thought and its verbal expression. In those 3 precious seconds, ask yourself this critical question. In this moment, for this specific situation, and concerning this particular person, is what I'm about to say truly necessary? This seemingly small question can profoundly alter the entire trajectory and outcome of a conversation. Have you ever felt an unspoken pressure, an almost self-inflicted burden, simply because you've said too much? Every time you freely share a plan, an unfolding idea, or a raw emotion, you are, in essence, putting yourself in a vulnerable position where you might feel compelled to defend or prove it. But if you retain even a small part of that information, if you keep a little of yourself reserved, you gain the profound freedom to pivot, to adjust, or even to gracefully walk away without any lingering shame or awkwardness. Not everyone needs to know every detail of your thoughts, and you certainly don't have to speak merely to prove your existence. The right kind of silence is like invisible armor. It meticulously shields you from misunderstandings, from emotional chaos, and from engaging in battles that are genuinely not worth fighting. Are you speaking primarily to be heard, or are you secretly afraid of being forgotten? Choose your words wisely, choose your moment carefully, and choose your audience with discernment. This isn't just effective communication, it's a profound strategy for survival. And before you rush to share your next big idea, remember this crucial analogy. Ideas are like delicate seeds. If you speak them too soon, the wind might carry them away before they ever get a chance to deeply root and flourish. 4. Guard your plans. There's a peculiar, almost counterintuitive phenomenon in modern life. The more people enthusiastically talk about their ambitious goals, the less likely they often are to actually achieve them. They might post their grand plans on social media, excitedly telling friends, "I'm launching this incredible project," or "I'm finally learning that new skill," or "This is the year absolutely everything changes." Then a few months inevitably pass, and all those fervent declarations suddenly fade away, much like an old, forgotten online post. Why does this happen? Because unchecked talk, when left to its own devices, acts as the most potent sedative for action. It subtly tricks your mind into believing that you are making tangible progress, when, in profound reality, all you are doing is merely about moving forward. Imagine yourself at a bustling cafe, casually overhearing someone passionately outlining their startup idea. "I'm going to open this unique coffee shop with artsy vibes, curated books, and a strong community-driven brand." It sounds incredibly inspiring, doesn't it? But then, 6 months later, you find yourself back at the very same cafe. There's no new coffee shop, and the person is still seated at the same table. sipping the same drink, now reciting a different yet equally grand story that sounds remarkably similar to the last. It's not that they are inherently lazy or insincere. They have simply fallen victim to a subtle mental trap, the pervasive illusion of progress. Our brains, in their fascinating complexity, often struggle to clearly distinguish between mere liticking about doing something and genuinely doing it. When you prematurely share your plans, you immediately receive a rush of satisfying rewards, admiration, encouragement, approving nods. It feels as though you've already completed half the journey, when, in reality, you haven't even taken the crucial first step. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, never boasted about his commitment to living simply. He simply lived simply. He didn't preach about discipline. He embodied it in every aspect of his existence. That quiet, consistent embodiment is precisely what set him apart. Consider this analogy. If you were a tree, would you rather expend your vital energy to grow genuine leaves, or merely shake your branches vigorously so people think you're growing? It's time you heard a story that will likely stick with you, not because it's about some distant hero or legendary figure, but because it's about someone remarkably similar to you. Jake, a 34-year-old software developer, despised his corporate job and constantly talked about his burning desire to quit and build his own app. He was brimming with innovative ideas, and his presentations were always stellar. He meticulously sketched out detailed plans, excitedly shared them with his friends, and even constructed an ambitious timeline for development. Everyone around him was thoroughly impressed. Yet, month after month, not a single line of code was actually written. Then, one day, a friend bluntly stated, "Jake, you're addicted to talking about success, not building it." That stark honesty hit Jake profoundly. The very next day, he deleted all his old social media posts, stopped sharing his aspirations, sat down, and courageously wrote his first line of code. 3 months of silence followed. Then 6 months passed with no updates. And then, one ordinary day, his app quietly went live on the App Store. There was no grand announcement, just decisive action. No fanfare, just concrete results. Jake's story forces us to ask a critical question. Are we genuinely doing the work, or are we merely talking about it? And if you recognize yourself in this story, understand that this is not a sign of failure. It is, instead, a powerful awakening, realizing that diligently keeping your plans quiet is precisely how you protect the invaluable energy needed to actually make them a reality. Look at the formidable figure of Thomas Sankara, the revolutionary leader from Burkina Faso. He never delivered speeches about living simply. He literally sold the government's luxury cars, drastically cut his own salary in half, and famously grew vegetables in the presidential garden. When you stop performing for an audience, people genuinely start noticing. When you cease announcing your intentions, your undeniable results speak eloquently for themselves. Silence in this context is a profound form of power. To genuinely integrate this principle into your life, try one transformative thing. Stop sharing your plans for the next 30 days. No posts, no humble brags, no subtle hints. Every single time you feel the compelling urge to talk about what you are going to do, pause and instead Write down one concrete, actionable step you can take right now. Do this not because you don't deserve recognition, but because you deserve a real, tangible result, not just a fleeting round of applause. You've already come halfway through this profound journey, and if you're still reading, it signifies that you're not merely interested in philosophy. You're genuinely ready to live it. The path to mastering your words is a bold one, demanding persistence and profound self-awareness. A quiet like from you, a simple acknowledgement is often more than enough. That quiet support can ripple far, much like the Stoic spirit itself, deep, silent, and brimming with unyielding strength. 5. Choose your confidence wisely. There's a subtle yet profound act of self-sabotage that many people commit daily, often without fully realizing its destructive power. Talking too much, and more critically, talking to the wrong people. You might genuinely believe you're forging deeper connections, but in reality, you could be inadvertently digging a hole for yourself. Every personal disclosure, every vulnerable admission can be another shovel of dirt until one day someone who is not you uses precisely what you've shared to metaphorically bury you. Does that sound heavy? Then let me ask you this with genuine introspection. Of all the individuals you've confided in over the years, how many have truly kept your secrets out of profound respect, rather than simply because they haven't yet found the opportune moment to use them? Stoicism teaches us the vital importance of controlling our words, but few truly grasp that this isn't just about speaking less. It's about meticulously choosing the right individuals with whom to share your deepest thoughts and vulnerabilities. You don't have to become a recluse or shut yourself off from the world, but you absolutely must be selective. The longer you navigate the complexities of life, the clearer it becomes. Not everyone deserves access to your internal files, your private thoughts, your most guarded systems. Have you ever found yourself on a bus or in a chance encounter with a stranger, suddenly pouring out your family issues, your relationship struggles, or your work stress? That fleeting sense of they won't judge because they're not involved makes us feel safe enough to open up. But praise Celibes, they are. Not involved, they possess no inherent loyalty to what you've shared. In a society that thrives on the rapid exchange of information, naivety is often one of the easiest vulnerabilities to exploit. I recall a story about a personal trainer named Mark who was just starting his business. He confided in someone he genuinely believed was a close friend, sharing his marketing ideas, his financial troubles, and even his unpaid debts. This friend listened intently, nodded empathetically, and offered encouraging words. Yet, a few months later, this same individual opened a competing gym directly next door, meticulously targeting Mark's exact clientele. Offhand remarks Mark had made, such as "I'm not sure I can keep this going another month," subtly spooked potential investors. It wasn't because Mark was inherently weak, but because he prematurely revealed his vulnerable spots to the wrong person. This isn't an isolated incident that only happens to entrepreneurs. It unfolds every day in workplaces when you vent to a coworker, only to notice your boss's attitude subtly shift. It happens within families when a heartfelt confession, tragically, becomes a tool for manipulation. It plays out online where individuals pour out their deepest emotions onto keyboards, mistakenly believing that saying it helps, only to realize that feeling lighter in the moment isn't always synonymous with being smart in the long run, and being overly open always invariably carries a hidden cost. So what should we do? We shouldn't become completely silent or emotionally closed off. Instead, we must diligently train ourselves to filter before we speak. Before you share something deeply personal, ask yourself, will sharing this genuinely make me stronger, or will it inadvertently hand someone else power over me? If you're unsure, keep it to yourself. Every word you utter is stored somewhere, in someone's memory, in conversations you won't be privy to, or even worse, as an unwitting component of a plan actively working against you. Try a simple, yet remarkably powerful rule, the 3-time appearance principle. An individual should demonstrate their character in your life at least 3 distinct times, in moments of shared joy, in times of profound pain, and crucially, in complete silence, before you consider sharing anything truly below the surface. Everyone can appear kind and supportive when things are going well, but someone who remains quietly steadfast and present when there's absolutely nothing left for them to gain, that is the person you can genuinely trust for a real world. Example: observe how CEOs meticulously guard the secrets of new product development. It's not that they don't trust their teams. It's because they understand that leaks invariably happen, and the most damaging leaks often originate from individuals whose long-term loyalty is questionable. Your life, too, is a work in progress, an unfolding product. Don't allow someone to prematurely evaluate your prototype and, based on incomplete information, decide your inherent worth. Silence, when strategically employed, can be your ultimate last line of defense against a hidden attack. And your true confidant, if you are fortunate enough to have one, won't need you to speak extensively. They will see you clearly, even through your profound silence. The Bible wisely advises, do not cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you in pieces. This isn't to say that you don't possess something valuable to share. It's to acknowledge that not everyone is genuinely capable of honoring the precious gifts you offer. So, ask yourself with brutal honesty, who are you genuinely sharing your truth with? And are you absolutely certain they will protect it? Or are they merely waiting for an opportune moment to use it against you? One day, you will come to the liberating realization that the person who knows the most superficial details about you might not understand you at all. Conversely, the individual who truly understands you at a profound level might not need to know every single detail. That is when you will truly grasp that silence is not simply the absence of words. It is, in its deepest essence, the profound presence of wisdom. 6. Silence is power. Silence is not merely the absence of sound. It is fundamentally a powerful choice. And that deliberate choice, though neither glamorous nor overtly easy, is incredibly potent, because remaining truly silent when you possess every logical reason to passionately speak up demands 10 times more courage than winning any heated argument. In an era where everyone seems to wield a microphone through social media, podcasts, live streams, who genuinely dares to remain quiet? If that person is you, then perhaps you are not simply reacting to the world's incessant noise. You are, with profound intention, owning your rightful place within it. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone unjustly said something negative about you, right in front of a crowd? Your gut twists, blood rushes to your head, and your mouth instinctively wants to fire back. But if you've ever, with immense self-control, held back, simply looked at them, remained silent, perhaps nodded, and then calmly walked away, you know that it doesn't feel good in the moment. Yet the impact is remarkably different. That profound moment of non-reaction quietly communicates to the world, I don't need to prove anything to you. And in that deliberate pause, you are not merely controlling your words, you are powerfully controlling yourself. Marcus Aurelius, the wise Roman emperor, did not speak much publicly. His profound meditations were written solely for himself. In one rarely quoted yet deeply insightful line, he wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This timeless wisdom advises, do not mimic their behavior. Do not retaliate in kind. Do not fall into the insidious trap of reaction. You don't need to speak to strike back effectively. You simply need to vigilantly avoid becoming the very reflection of what you despise. That in itself is a powerful act of resistance. Have you ever noticed how some individuals can articulate the most intelligent and brilliant things, yet their words seem to evaporate into thin air, leaving no lasting impression? Meanwhile, others simply and quietly go about their work, say very little, yet we remember them forever. This is because words are merely sound waves. Actions, conversely, possess the undeniable force of gravity. Sound fades away, but gravity doesn't need to be seen. It exerts its pull regardless. There is a powerful, yet often avoided, aspect of silence, the profound fear of being misunderstood. We are afraid that if we remain quiet, people will mistakenly think we are weak, wrong, or utterly clueless. But here's the profound twist. Silence, paradoxically, creates a strange and compelling kind of power. It forces others to guess, to speculate about your thoughts and intentions. And in that fertile ground of uncertainty, you gain influence. This might all sound good in theory, but how do you genuinely live it out in a world that constantly seems to push your buttons? The answer lies in the small, everyday moments. When a loved one is upset, dragging up every past mistake, can you simply take their hand, remain silent, and genuinely listen, instead of reflexively defending yourself? When a coworker subtly throws shade in a meeting, can you simply smile, look at your boss, and calmly deliver your point? No more, no less. Consider David, a designer in a field where creativity isn't always fairly rewarded. One day, a coworker stole his idea and boldly pitched it to their boss as his own. Everyone applauded the coworker. David, remarkably, remained silent. No pushback, no public call-out. A week later, when it was time to execute the idea, the entire team instinctively turned to David for the intricate details. Why? Because the core of the idea lived intimately in his mind, not in the other person's. He owned the moment, not with words, but with undeniable action. From that day forward, people saw David differently, not just as talented, but as profoundly grounded. Silence, when wielded with intention, flips the entire script. People don't listen to you simply because you are speaking. They listen because they know that when you do speak, it truly, profoundly matters. And sometimes silence is the very medicine you need. When we stop incessantly voicing every negative feeling and instead simply sit with them, those overwhelming feelings often begin to shrink. This concept resonates across various wisdom traditions: Zen, Taoism, Buddhism, the principle of Wu Wei, or non-action. Non-action is a deeply intentional act. You don't react, not because you are avoiding the situation, but because you are profoundly processing it at a deeper, more conscious level. So, here's a powerful challenge for you. Try a day of silence. No arguing, no proving, no vague social media posts subtly aimed at someone. Just observe. Track every single time you felt the urge to speak but consciously chose not to. Then, at the end of the day, honestly ask yourself, if I had said something, would it have genuinely made things better? Perhaps you are not the most eloquent speaker. That is perfectly fine. You can still make your words carry immense weight and impact by simply saying less, by speaking only when it truly counts. Do not allow your voice to become cheap because you give it away too often. Silence is indeed power, but only if you are strong enough to truly hold it. If you've ever held back from saying something and realized that act made you stronger, embrace that profound strength in silence. 7. Let achievement speak. Most of us share a deeply ingrained human instinct, the powerful desire to be recognized, to have our efforts and aspirations acknowledged. And often, the quickest, most immediate way to satisfy that urge is to talk about what we plan to do, what we're actively working on, or what we fervently hope to achieve. We mistakenly believe that by vocally expressing our intentions, others will perceive us as serious, as individuals of genuine value. But the profound truth is, the more we talk about something before it has actually materialized, the more likely we are to inadvertently lose the vital momentum needed to achieve it. This isn't because someone else sabotages us. It's because speaking too early and too extensively subtly erodes the inner drive that fuels action. The more we assert ourselves with mere words, the easier it becomes to fall into the comforting illusion that we've already made significant progress, when, in stark reality, we haven't even taken the crucial first step. Those who truly embody the Stoic mindset intimately understand this principle. Every single word uttered costs precious energy. Every time you feel compelled to share a meticulously crafted plan, to justify a thoughtful decision, or to desperately try to prove your inherent worth, you are, in essence, giving away vital energy that should have been rigorously reserved for tangible action. They consciously choose to act first and to speak later, not because they lack anything profound to say, but because they intuitively know that genuine credibility isn't cultivated through convincing others with words, but by allowing undeniable results to speak eloquently for themselves. In a world that never ceases its incessant chatter, the individual who possesses the quiet wisdom to remain silent commands the most profound and genuine attention. Think back to the last time you excitedly told someone you were going to learn a new language, commit to a consistent workout routine, finally write that book you've always dreamed of, or launch an ambitious new project. What happened after you made that declaration? If you're like the majority of people, the initial surge of excitement probably faded surprisingly soon thereafter. Simply by articulating your intention out loud, your brain experienced a hit of that achievement feeling without actually performing the arduous work. Your brain effectively claimed the reward before paying the necessary price, and then, inevitably, things stalled. This isn't because you're inherently weak, but because you unknowingly, unconsciously, traded tangible action for a comforting illusion. Purposeful silence is not a sign of avoidance. It is, in fact, a remarkably smart and strategic approach. Much like planting a delicate seed, you don't frantically dig it up every single day to meticulously check its growth, do you? No, you allow it to grow in quiet, steadily, and strongly. People are fundamentally the same. The most meaningful things in life require vigilant protection from rushed judgment and the impatient eyes of others. When you diligently keep your plans to yourself, you actively create a safe, nurturing space for them to truly flourish, free from external pressures or distortions. Staying silent about your goals is also a powerful way to cultivate profound inner discipline. Not everyone possesses the unwavering mental fortitude to do it. It's undeniably easy to conspicuously how you're trying. It's far, far harder to quietly move forward without needing constant validation or external applause. But that, precisely, is what sets you apart from the crowd. Silence demands that you genuinely, deeply believe in your own process, your own path. It demands that you don't need to be constantly seen, perfectly understood, or loudly applauded. You simply need to know with unwavering clarity exactly what you are doing and diligently keep doing it. And when the undeniable results finally materialize, you won't need to utter a single word. They will speak eloquently for you. That is more than mere recognition. It is profound trust, not because you made grand promises, but because you consistently and unequivocally delivered. No empty hype, no blinding spotlight, just unvarnished truth with undeniable weight. That is the kind of impact that makes people genuinely pause, deeply take notice, and perceive you in an entirely new, elevated light. Because you weren't frantically trying to be seen, you made it utterly impossible to be dot. So the next time you feel that compelling urge to share a meticulous plan, pause. Ask yourself this critical question. What would truly happen if I simply kept this to myself? Am I genuinely ready to let the tangible result be the only thing that speaks for my efforts? If your honest answer is yes, then you are unequivocally on the right path, because the individual who possesses unwavering control over their words is the one who is truly, profoundly in control of their entire life. And that, precisely, is where all real, enduring value truly begins. We've now diligently explored 7 profound, Stoic-inspired lessons designed to help you master your words. From cultivating a deeper ability to listen and effectively managing your powerful emotions, to discerning precisely when silence speaks far louder than any promise, each of these insights is not merely a philosophical idea. It is a practical, actionable tool to help you live with greater clarity, profound resilience, and genuine impact through the power of quiet strength. Because the more authentically we grow, the less we instinctively feel the need to talk. Our actions, profoundly and eloquently, begin to speak for us. Words possess the innate capacity to both build and destroy. But when you consciously learn To master them, you are not simply mastering speech. You are, in essence, mastering your entire self. That, precisely, is the liberating power that Stoicism bestows upon you. Inner freedom, unwavering calm amidst chaos, and an unshakable focus on the chosen path that you alone define. If this discussion ignited a spark within you, if it offered a fresh perspective you hadn't considered before, please take a moment to hit the like button. Your support helps this wisdom reach others who might need it just as much. I genuinely want to hear your thoughts. What specific idea resonated most deeply with you? What challenge are you currently navigating, or what meaningful project are you diligently working on? Share your insights in the comments below so we can all grow together and support each other on this journey. If you know someone who could truly benefit from these timeless lessons, consider sharing this video with them. And most importantly, if you haven't already, subscribe to StoicCraft. Your journey to self-mastery is only just beginning, and there is so much more valuable content, insightful lessons, and practical strategies yet to come, all designed to empower you to cultivate a powerful mindset, take full control of your life, and become the strongest, most authentic version of yourself. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you soon.